The sister of a British holidaymaker facing the death penalty for taking prescription painkillers into Egypt says the 33-year-old will be murdered or kill herself unless she is released. Jane Sinclair, 40, said her little sister Laura Plummer has already threatened to commit suicide after 26 days locked in a repulsive tiny cell with 25 inmates, no air conditioning and a hole in the ground to relieve herself. Laura, from Hull, was arrested by Egyptian police at Hurghada International Airport when she was found to be carrying tramadol and naproxen in her suitcase. According to her family, she is being held on drug trafficking charges at Hurghada First Police Department with murderers, heroin addicts and prostitutes sharing her 15 feet by 15 feet cell. Laura claims she was carrying the prescription drugs to her Egyptian boyfriend of 4 years Omar Koubi, who suffers with severe back pain. Her life is in danger, M. Sinclair told Mirror Online. We went out to see her last week and my mum collapsed at the sight of her. She looked over at us and said, "Mum, please help me, help me." It was horrendous. She was handcuffed to a police officer with a machine gun and the court was full of men, not one woman. We are quite a glamorous family and she looked absolutely shocking. Her hair has fallen out and she has a really bad ear infection which has caused her whole face and neck to swell. She doesn't even look like herself. She couldn't speak properly and was wearing the clothes she traveled in. She can't stay in there any longer or she will be murdered or kill herself. Jane says Laura met her boyfriend Omar, who is married to an Egyptian woman and has children, 4 years ago while on holiday. He was part of the entertainment team at Laura's hotel complex and the pair quickly fell in love. Laura now travels abroad to see Omar between 2 and 4 times a year. According to Jane, Omar was in a car accident 2 years which left him suffering with severe back and arm pain. Shop worker Laura, who works at a high-end women's clothing store, claims a colleague gave her the tramadol after a discussion about her boyfriend's injuries. Laura is really naive and childlike, so she didn't even check what the drugs were, Jane says. She lives at home with our mum in a small room with a single bed. She is the last person this sort of thing would happen to. Laura is one of 6 siblings, Craig, 44, Jane, 40, Turk, 38, and twins James and Rachel, 31, and despite being the 3rd youngest is considered the baby of the family, Jane says. She's a target in there because she's a foreigner, Jane says. She was being kicked and kicked until apparently the cell leader started watching her. They're not exactly friends because they don't speak the same language, but she seems to be making sure Laura doesn't come to any harm. To give you an idea of the place Laura is staying in, this woman, the person alleged to be looking after Laura, is locked up for slitting her best friend's throat. According to Jane, Omar went to visit Laura as soon as she was arrested but has not been to see her since, as he lives a 5-hour drive away. Laura's dad Navile is said to have already spent £10,000 on legal costs. We finally seem to have a good lawyer and he keeps saying how serious the charges are, Jane says. We have heard 25 years in prison and even the death penalty. At the very least people say Laura is looking at 3 to 5 years. She will never make it. She will end up in an asylum. According to Laura's family, the drugs she carried into Egypt had a street value of just £23.20. She was carrying 29 strips of tramadol, each containing 10 tablets, plus some naproxen. But while tramadol is legal in Britain with a prescription, it is illegal in Egypt and known to be used as a heroin substitute. Laura will appear in court on Thursday for her 3rd hearing. A Foreign Office spokesman said, "We are supporting a British woman and her family following her detention in Egypt.